Appreciate you jumping on here.
Thank you. Sorry, I got to do it in my truck. I hope it's not too loud.
No, dude, it's all good. I wanted to dive into something that has been coming up a lot online lately is your double backflip.
It aired in 97. I actually did it in 96.
The show was shot in 1996.
November, I think, in 1996. And it didn't air for about 5 or 6 months, maybe 4 months.
Did you keep it a secret that you did it?
I think people knew. I actually did, I think, 3 or 5 into the Resi pit at Woodward camp. And I had to keep that quiet.
Did word get out that you're doing double flips at Woodward and then you got hit up by a TV show about it? Or
Twin and GT were both doing demos at Interbike the last year that it was in Anaheim. And some TV producer after the show just randomly walked up to me and asked me if there's something really cool I could do on my bike for a TV show. And I told him a double backflip, and he's like, "Can you do that?" I was like, "Not yet, but I'll learn." And they actually approached Woody Itzen or Dave Volker, but Volker, it was either me doing the double backflip or Dave Volker jumping over the hood of the GT dually. And they went with the double backflip, but they were stressing because I hadn't done it yet. And I'm pretty sure Woody Itzen was in their ear saying, "There's no way Jay can do that. You're fucking up if you go with him." So I had to go to Woodward. Chris Rye filmed it, and then we sent I think a VHS tape because it was so long ago. We sent a VHS tape to them, and then they got all calmed down and cool, and they were like, "Okay, we'll do this."
if I remember right, I heard the story Pova told that you actually got knocked out like practicing it at the studio, and they kind of freaked out because they set up everything for that.
It was crazy, man. Like, I had a crazy travel schedule before that. I was filming the Schwinn video, and we decided to film at Woodward because I had to learn the double back. After that, Dave Osato and I flew to Philadelphia, met up with Dave Mira, and then we flew to Vigo, Spain, and did demos in Vigo, Spain. And then when I was flying back into America, realized my work visa expired, and they weren't going to let me do the TV show.
Oh no, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I had to buy a ticket to Canada through New York. I don't know if I should even be saying this right now. I had to buy a plane ticket to Canada connecting through New York. And then once I cleared customs in America, I never got on the flight to Canada. Instead, I flew to LA, like Huntington Beach, where I was living, had to get all my paperwork. Then I flew up to Vancouver. I was supposed to get my work visa renewed and just jump on a plane, fly right down, but they didn't have it ready, the American customs. So I had to stay the night in Vancouver, then get on another plane back to LA. I was in LA for like 8 hours, and then I had to take the overnight to Florida because we were shooting in Orlando at Universal Studios. And then I was so tired by that point, jet lagged, and I didn't even know what time zone I was in. And I got knocked out the night before the show doing it in the studio. And it was a bad knockout, like one of the worst of my life.
I remember Pova saying like the TV producers were like kind of freaking out, like, is he going to be able to do it? Because they hadn't seen anybody like crash like that. And then Pova's kind of telling them like, he's crashed like this before. He'll be okay. Like,
Yeah.
do it.
So I just told this story actually when I got inducted into the Hall of Fame last September. But yeah, the dude had a complete meltdown. Like he was like, "We're fucked. Everything's fucked. You're fucked. I'm fucked." Like I'll never forget it. So I woke up in the where I don't think I ever went out cold, but I lost whatever. I got amnesia. So I came to in the ambulance, and I got them to turn around and drive me back to the studio. And when I walked in, dude was like, had Pova against the wall screaming at him all that, "We're fucked, you're fucked." And then he noticed Pova look over his shoulder, and he turned around to see me. And he was like, "Hey, Jay, how you doing, man?" Like he was super cool, like nothing was wrong.
Was it John
But
Ritter
yeah,
that was freaking out, or like a producer or something?
it was the producer, but they made John Ritter do all the openings, the closings, all the commercial breaks. They made them do them twice. Once as if I was in the show and once as if I wasn't in the show. And I remember, like, he was super cool, by the way, like, coolest celebrity I've ever met, just super down to earth. And he was on the phone in his dressing room because I was walking past and I heard this. Yeah, the kid did it last night in the parking lot perfectly, but the ceiling's kind of low in the studio, so nobody knows if he's going to do it. And I heard him talking about me. It was kind of funny. So, yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So out in the parking lot, I had tons of room. It was easy. But in the studio, like, I don't know why other guys do them low. I couldn't do them low. Like, I went super high. So we calculated I was going about 21 to 23 feet, something like that in Woodward. And in the studio, the ceiling was all 22 feet. And then there was one cutout section that was 24. But if we put the ramp there, it was really hard for me to get enough pedals in. So basically, I had to come down the roll in and get two pedals in, like literally I was pedaling right into the bottom of the box jump, and then I had to like double back. It was really hard and really scary. Didn't make it. The first one, like, there was a dude blowing bubbles, this crazy bubble guy, and he had a smoke machine going. And the smoke, you couldn't see it, but it was all up in that cutout section in the ceiling. So I got lost in the smoke, and I tried like to do it by feel, and I extended the landing and I under rotated, just took it right to the chin. It sucked.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
I had a full face on because I'm me, you know. I had the chest protector on. Schwinn loved the chest protector. It gave him good logos on TV. When I actually did it, like the producer walked out, like it was a studio audience of, I don't know, 1,000 or 2,000 people. And he walked out and told them, like, just so you know, this is no guarantee. He got knocked out cold last night. So, like, you might see something bad here. And like, if you don't want to watch this, leave now kind of thing. And like it set the stage. Like, everyone in there was so stressed. And when I actually did it, John Ritter freaked out and like picks me up and he's running around the studio with me on his shoulder. I want you to have my tie, man. And I still own his tie. It's kind of cool. Once in a while, when I'm going through my stuff, I pull it out. I'm like, yeah, that's a good memory for me.
That's amazing. Yeah, that is that's so cool. He let you keep that. R.I.P. John Ritter. That's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, pretty crazy, you know. So, yeah, and that's kind of when we realized how awesome Pova was, and then like I called the guys back at Schwinn, and I was like, we need to hire this guy as our team manager because we had been looking for a while. We had a guy that was a good guy, but just didn't work out. We were super hesitant to hire Pova, but then after we hired him, they were like, "Oh my god, like that guy's amazing." So that was like kind of what got Pova to be our team manager, and I think he did such a good job with us that led to his Etnies job too. You know, so it was kind of this amazing experience for a lot of us. And it was really cool. Ronnie Bonner came and like picked us all up at our hotel the night before the show and brought us all out and bought us this super awesome dinner. And then he came to the show and Dave Mavro was there and a bunch of other guys. It was a really cool, like, after I pulled it, we went out partying and had this super fun night. But yeah, it was like super stressful the whole maybe 3 weeks leading up to it. It was like Schwinn was stressed, the TV people were stressed, I was stressed. Like, yeah, it was wild.
So prior to that, was there any other dudes messing with double flips? I mean, Mira did one in a contest a few years later, but obviously it was like 4 or 5 years later.
Bob Cole gave him a couple honest goes, way back. I actually did one in, God, I want to say 92, maybe 93.
Oh, wow.
But I over rotated. It was when I was riding for Hoffman Bikes. He had that huge half pipe set up in the back warehouse there. So I built a little, well, not a little. At the time, it was the hugest box jump ever built, a 5-foot box jump with a 10-foot deck. And I did one, and I was like not committing. I was kind of over rotating singles, and we had all the mattresses. I don't know if you remember Head First, but it shows Hoffman doing flares. All those same mattresses were
Oh,
dragged
wow.
aside. And we all kind of decided the mattresses needed to be moved a little bit to one side or another. And I did a double backflip, over rotated flat on my back right beside the mattresses on the plywood.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah, I got
That
fucked
story. That's crazy.
up. Like I was in tons of pain and I couldn't do it again. I really wanted to badly. We had it on tape and then we taped over it by mistake.
Oh no, that's
Like,
insane.
yeah, it was crushing, man. Like it was exactly like Crew Jones when he does the backflip and that chick says you over rotated. Sorry, my phone just
No,
fell.
it's all good.
It was exactly like Crew Jones, but it was a double right to my back.
After the show, did you have a desire to do one again?
So I built this special ramp. Like I actually built the bottom of the ramp, the same transition as the Woodward Resi transition. And then I built a 6 foot tall kicker in front of it. So I just kind of hooked it on the top of the ramp. I'm pretty sure Mira, because I told Mira I did a double backflip and told him about the ramp. So right after we did those demos, I'm pretty sure him and Ken and Harkin went to Woodward and learned double backflips on the same ramp.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah, because I remember them doing them shortly after, or at least trying them.
Yeah. So I remember being fuck, I should have torn the ramp apart.
Oh yeah, that is funny. You count that as the first double backflip? Yeah, like I know there was padded landing. I don't think it was like a resi, the one you did on the show. I would say it counts, but I just wanted to hear it from you, like how you felt about it.
Yeah, I always counted that. Like I remember doing a manual to jump over grind on like a skate park rail. And I always considered that the first one that I did, like that anyone ever did. And then when I was filming the 10 pack video and I did it on street, I remember Jason N saying like, that's the first one ever. And I'm like, no, I did it like years ago. But he's like, not on a real rail. But I never cared about that. Like if a dude did it, he did it, you know, like
Yeah.
for if I could do it on a resi, I'd do it on wood. Like I don't care, you know. Could have done more, but there was never enough speed. I always needed to go way bigger. Like Mira could do them so low and fast. Like I couldn't believe he could do it so perfectly. I had to like go super high and just redneck it.
Yeah, yours were more open up, which look awesome. Like Escamilla was saying on Pova's podcast that he did with RBMX that your double flip's the best looking one he's ever seen because you
Oh,
stay
that's cool.
open the whole time, and a lot of guys tuck their head in, but maybe that's why they go around faster, maybe for low flips.
Yeah, I think so. Like flips, I always, even singles, I always went super high on them. I don't know why. I just couldn't do them any lower. Found out later, like after I left Schwinn, the guy that I would deal with all the time there, he told me I was 75% of Schwinn's media attention while I was on that team.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, that was one of the biggest things that ever happened for Schwinn. And I ended up getting a huge raise. That was a contract year for me. So when I signed my new contract, I ended up getting a huge raise from them. So it was a really big deal.
You know, obviously it transcended outside of BMX.
Yeah, it was wild. Like the day after it aired, I was on summer tour and everywhere we went, people were saying hi to me. Like it was wild. Like it felt like I was like a movie star kind of thing, that kind of status of fame. I mean, it lasted a couple weeks and then everyone forgot about it.
And nobody's seen anything like that in '97. You know, it's insane.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago.
How long do you think it's been since you've done a backflip on a bike?
Probably, oh God, I want to say on a real jump 90 or 2005.
Do you still own a BMX bike? Like you got a bike or two around?
Yeah, I still own a bike. And I think the last time I rode, it's funny, I just went golfing with Dave Asado and James Steele yesterday. And James and I were talking about the last time I rode was a couple years ago. I rode a skate park in Vancouver, but my shoulder's so torn right now. If I even try to buddy hop a curb, my arm will fall off.
Oh wow.
So I'm getting a huge surgery in the next couple months, a full shoulder replacement. So I might actually be able to ride again, like in a year or so.
Oh wow.
I'm never going to ride hard,
No,
but it'd be fun to cruise around a park. But right now, like, as a woodworker, if I fuck my shoulder up any worse, I can't make a living.
no, it's understandable.
The last time I kind of got air, like road, was with Osado in 2014. And it was really cool because his daughter was maybe 2 or 3 years old. And I remember her being so excited seeing her dad ride. She kept jumping up and down, going, "Daddy, daddy, daddy." It was like super sweet.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, fun times. Probably the best 3 weeks of my career was in '95 in the spring, before I even got a phone call from Schwinn. I just went on this European trip for 3 weeks, and David Casada from Fly Bikes, way before he ever owned Fly Bikes. It was like I met him at the '94 finals in Chicago, and then he said, "Would you ever?" Or no, maybe I said, "Hey man, I'd love to come and see Spain sometime." And he said, "Maybe I'll set up a demo." So I forget how it worked. Either he contacted me or I contacted him, because I just fell in love with Europe the first time I went in '92 and met all these German dudes that I got along with super well. So, I went on a trip back. David Casada set up demos and Stefan Prantl set up actual Schwinn demos for me because he was riding for Schwinn in Europe.
Oh, that's
So
rad.
I did Schwinn demos in Switzerland and then Hoffman demos in Spain, and that paid for my whole trip. And like literally all we did for 3 weeks was like travel around Europe, partying, riding, and hooking up with girls. It was like the craziest like 3 weeks. And Marcus Arnaldi, Kai Klauberg from Freedom, Bart de Jong and Paul de Jong from Netherlands were on the trip. Stefan Prantl was like amazing, like put me up, took care of me. He would like lend the Schwinn van out to us so we could go riding. Like, 'cause he was running his or his bike shop and was working on starting his bike company. But it was like one of the most amazing times. And then like I went to uh, Budapest, Hungary for the 1992 World Championships, and it was like not long after the fall of the Soviet Union and Hungary was no longer under the Iron Curtain kind of thing. And the whole country was in party mode, man. Like I was not ready for the party. And like, that's when I like met all the German dudes. Like, I remember the first night, like I went to bed early, like I'm at the Worlds, I gotta do well. And then like all night, I just heard these German party dudes. So the next night I went out with those guys and like, wild this night of my life, man. Like wildest, craziest time, so much fun.
How old were
And
you
then
back then? How old do you think you were, like 20
I was
maybe?
21.
21.
The whole story's insane. Like I was in Tacoma, Washington doing shows with Volker and Billy Newman, and our van broke down and we showed up. Like I was 6 hours late to pick up Volker, and I think Ron Haro, he was our team manager of all things at GT. And then we finally got a hotel at 2 in the morning, and like we were like, fuck it, we're just gonna get up tomorrow, do the shows, and then sleep. And their shows were in a shopping mall, so we had to be there at 8 in the morning to set up the ramps before the mall opened. And all these riders were waiting for us. And this one dude, like, he's like, comes over, we open the doors to the rig, and he's like, we got 2 cases of beers on ice. The boat's on the trailer. We got the jet ski in the back of the truck, the barbecue. We're going to help you guys tear down when your shows are over, and we're taking you out partying.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
The craziest night ever. And then I actually lost my wallet in the lake that day. Next day, Dave Volker and I had to drive to Seattle. He picked Brian Blyther up to continue. He took over for me on tour, and I flew over to Hungary with like nothing but a passport and $500 cash in my pocket.
Oh wow. Oh, that's gnarly.
And I had to do an overnight in London. So I spent like $250 in a hotel in London. And I was 21 and never traveled like by myself or international. And then I got to Budapest, and like, I didn't know, like, there were dudes with like AK-47s on the parking lot, like walking us in,
Oh, that's gnarly.
when the plane landed, like it was super scary. And then, oh, I broke my bike in half too in the shows the day before. I hung up a front flip on the spine. So I had this bike box and it blew up on the trip and all my parts were coming out one by one on the conveyor. And I stacked them all on this rack and I walked out like I didn't know what I was going to do if someone wasn't there to pick me up. And then some dude with an accent's like, Jay Miron, Jay Miron. And I was just like, fuck yeah, you know? So I met up with him and then I had the craziest trip ever. Like, you know, in Budapest, the club scene was wild and it was all mafia and like just madness, man. But yeah, just the old stuff before it got big. Like when it got big and we all started making money, it was amazing. But the old like 90 to 95 was like the craziest time in BMX, man. Like we didn't have a dollar. We didn't have a care in the world. And all we did was just ride and party and have fun. It was like those days are the craziest, you know?
I remember seeing an interview with you back in the day. You're saying that like the best times were like sleeping a bunch of guys on the hotel room floor, you know, just doing it on a shoestring budget.
Yeah. No TV, no internet, no cameras. You could be as crazy as you wanted. You know, there were no consequences, you know, like you're in whatever town or country, like you're not coming back here till next year. Like nobody cares. It's just crazy. And then I remember when I started getting on TV and then we'd be in the bar and like you could see people looking like they knew who you were. I remember when the cameras started coming out and like everyone wanted, because I had a party reputation. Everyone wanted to get me on camera partying. And I was like, fuck, this is no fun, guys. Like, put the cameras away and let's just have fun, you know? Like, I'm not going to be an idiot and then have you like post it on YouTube and shit, you know?
Yeah,
So
that's understandable.
it just stopped being as fun after television. But I mean, in other ways, it was amazing because then, you know, the world started building skate parks and I got to travel to so many crazy countries. So it was good both ways. But yeah, just the wildest stories happened before, you know, the internet and before, you know, the X Games started.
That's understandable. You watch current DMX? Like, you watch anything like contest wise?
Yeah. Yeah, I watch it. I don't keep up with it, but like I have my dudes that I like watching and stuff, and I check out their Instagram pages and stuff like that.
Is there certain things you're seeing in park contests that you're like, we would never imagine that happening? Like
Oh,
tricks and stuff?
almost everything.
Yeah.
I remember, I forget who was there. I think Kenan Harkin was there. Maybe Taj. When Woodward built the first foam pit, I was there and I helped throw the foam blocks into the pit. I might have been the first dude to ever jump in a pit. It might have been Kenan. I'm not sure. But someone said, this is going to change it for us, but wait till the kids grow up with this, you know, with the foam pits and stuff. And I think that's what we're seeing now in those, you know, the Olympics and the UCI events. It's like I watched the first Olympics with my wife and I'm sitting there going, I don't know how many tail whips that was. And I'm really good at this, you know? Like I honestly couldn't tell how many tail whips were being done. Like that's, yeah, I just never would have expected any of that. The women are so badass now too. They're throwing fucking crazy shit, man. And it's amazing to see that, you know?
Yeah, it is. And there's little kids, you know, I was just filming a kid in Japan a few weeks ago. He's 8 years old doing flares out of a 7-foot concrete quarter.
Yeah,
Just wild.
it's wild, right? The gymnast dudes told us that. There was one gymnast standing there and he goes, you know, who's going to be like really good at this is the Chinese because they're going to do it just like gymnastics. I don't really know if there's too many top Chinese riders, but I think eventually they'll get really good. And like the Japanese seem to be amazing these days,
There,
you know, in skateboard and
it's
BMX.
true. Yeah, there is a kid coming up that's 12 out of China. That's amazing. He's doing flare tail whips and stuff already. And they got a gold medal for the Olympics last year for women's BMX park. So,
Oh, I didn't know that. A
yeah.
Chinese woman. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so it's already happening. And like that guy called it, and we were arguing with him like hard. He's like, "You have no clue, man," and we didn't. You know, it really is happening. I love that about it. I do get bummed out that the UCI is so one dimensional. You know, everyone asks me, how would you do it? I would do it like a Metro Jam. I would have a wide variety of skills, you know? That's my only critique is like it should be a wide variety of skills. But I mean, the courses look amazing. If you're a general public, it's awesome. But I think it's too much of the same thing. And I think the general public, it doesn't show people individuality and it's hard to like pick a favorite when everyone's just flipping and whipping and spinning, you know?
So you would like to see like uses of sub boxes and rails.
Yeah, we had box jumps several times in Metro Jams, but you couldn't get to it unless you could ride some crazy wall contraption or jump a bank hip, you know? I think we made it so, you know, the guys with the most skills, well, that's why Josh Harrington won all the time.
Exactly.
Like that dude just had, I think he was the best rider in the world for a 3 or 4 year period there. That he would never get, um, you know, recognition for that. But he was like a top level dude on vert, a top level dude on dirt, and undeniably the best on street, you know, real street and Park Street, if you ask me, you
I
know.
agree. I said that he's probably one of the best all around riders there is for sure.
Yeah, I would put him in the top three or, you know, right at number one, you know. So yeah, he's that good.
And why did the Metro Jam move to Singapore in 2007? I knew you did it in Canada, obviously. I was just curious about that.
Yeah, you know, I'm getting into some hell here, but like I kind of had this vision of Metro Jam as everyone being super stoked on it, and they were. And then it kind of became expected. And like I had other distributors in Canada offering to pay for bike shops booths if they put most of his stuff in there and didn't put the 10 pack stuff. And I had people getting mad at me and yelling at me about the judging. Like it just turned into this mess where like Metro at first was this amazing fun time. And then I basically got yelled at all weekend by everyone for everything, you know? And we ended up hooking up with this business guy that had like good television, you know, connections and stuff. But it like we kind of gave him too much leash and it ended up being something Metro wasn't, you know? It ended up kind of being like an ESPN kind of thing where they didn't care about the crowd and they didn't care where the location was or if riders were there. They just wanted to film this thing and make ad dollars, you know? And then we tried to do it again. I forget the name of the town, Queen's University, Kingston, Ontario, or I think Kingston up in Canada. And it was a disaster. And I kind of think that was the writing on the wall, you know, like I wasn't bringing in the sponsorship dollars we needed. And it was costing us like so much money every event. And it was killing the company and it was so much work and stress. So we just decided, you know, we gave the TV way away like a shot and it just like, it didn't work. So we just shut it down. It sucked because it was one of my favorite things. It was my favorite thing of all the companies we owned is like, that was the thing that I was kind of the spearhead. Darcy was McNeil guy. Ken Paul and Chris Young ran the magazine and Jamie McIntosh did the distribution with Terry Carson, you know, and me and for a while Al Moore did McNeil or, Metro Jam. Al was kind of the McNeil team manager and the events guy. And then I was you know, and that was the most fun for me. So it is sad that it's gone. You know, I thought they
Yeah,
were
it's
good contest.
understandable. Yeah, no, that's insane. I mean, they did have a great run. Bonner said a similar thing about Roots. He said one year he looked around, everybody's having a good time. He's like, this is the last one I'm going to do. So
Yeah, it's people have no idea how hard events are.
yeah,
Like, remember one Toronto event we did, because we had the ramps and 3 shipping containers and we'd load them up to trucks. They drive into the train terminal and train them out to Chicago or to Toronto. And, I remember Al Moore coming up to me like 2 days before the comp saying, I got bad news, Jay. One of the containers was left in Winnipeg and they don't think they can get it here in time.
oh,
So
that's gnarly.
yeah, we ended up, it did show up at like 9 p.m. the night before and a crew of 10 or 12 of us worked all night to put the ramps together and props got it on a time lapse. And you could see guys like screwing stuff together and then they just lay down and sleep for an hour and then they'd wake up and go right back to work.
That,
Stuff like
that's
that,
wild.
really hard, you know? So yeah, it just ended up. Like I always joke that I would lose 2 weeks of my life every time we did a metro because I would die 2 weeks sooner because of all the stress I had.
Yeah, I bet. I bet it was chaotic. That's insane.
Yeah, but it was also amazing. Like, when the pro finals happened and, when guys would actually blow up who had come up through the amateur comps, that was always really cool to me. And it's fun. It's been so long now. Like I told you, I forget a lot of details, but it's fun reminiscing the old days for me now. Like they were like, now that I really can appreciate like just how amazing it was, it's pretty cool looking back on it. Well, having the opportunity to tell the story and just, yeah, give a little background because I know people like to hear that.
No, they'll love this, and I really appreciate it, and I love to hear it too. So thanks, Jay. Hope that you get your shoulder worked on, and we see you cruising around a little bit at least.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. It's been torn for 25 years, so it'll be nice to get it fixed.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Jay. Thank you, man.
All right. Thanks for doing
Yeah.
this. Bye bye.